think we're assholes, but we're dickish at best.
Hello, and welcome to Dickish at Best, where we like fantasy football, but without the football. My name is Blake.
That's a pretty good opening.
My name is Saul.
Yeah, I'm Brett. Oh, all right, Blaze, give the rest of the spiel. Do you know it off the top of your head yet?
Russian Spiel.
Yeah, Russian spiel?
Russian Spiel.
Yeah, you know.
The new vodka brand I'm coming out with, and is now endorsed and find a local liquor store near you.
Speaking of vodka, I want to put a pin in that here in a second.
You want to put a pin in the vodka?
No,
we haven't even started, so you can go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, well, you got to finish up your spiel.
Yeah,
I don't have a spiel.
Oh, well, you can find us on Patreon, Twitter, and, of course, YouTube and podcast services across all the world.
I'm a horrible host, aren't I?
You can find us in video format on YouTube.
I just said YouTube.
Okay.
Every other Friday. There we go.
So I haven't got that part yet.
Yeah, every other Friday, 12 p.m.
Yeah, I'm just an amateur here, but...
Yeah, it's okay. All right.
Well, I was thinking about fantasy football without the football. You know, like so Dungeons and Dragons, but what if we did it with the draft? Or where you make a pool of characters that all have different stats, and you don't know who you're going to get. You roll to get those characters.
Is that what fantasy football is?
Oh, fantasy football, yeah.
Yeah, like you get a draft and you pick your...
You go through and you create... Essentially, you draft your own team. You pull them in. You have draft picks that you got to go through.
People have.
Yeah.
And so it's really a draft of football players, basically.
And then it's based off of how your team does based off of each player's individual performance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The reason I said the thing about vodka, though, is White Claw is like becoming a big thing, and I didn't know what that was.
It's a seltzer. Is seltzer considered vodka?
No, this is an alcoholic seltzer, though.
Yeah.
I thought it was a vodka seltzer, but
it's just...
Yeah, it's just...
It's essentially like a beer with...
No, it's like a LaCroix, but that's alcoholic.
Yeah.
What's the alcohol content? Like, where does that come from?
Like 5%, yeah, so close to...
But where does it come from? Like, does it come from a certain type of alcohol, or is it...
Yeah, they distill it. I don't know exactly what you'd call that type of alcohol. But.
Yeah,
people be freaking out over this, and it made it sound like it's like the new Four Loko, but it turns out this is like 5% alcohol. So
it has like an energy drink and alcohol.
It only
has
like
anymore.
It doesn't have any. It has like a gram of carb, and it's like 100 calories. So white girls love it.
Oh, I get it. But no,
my wife drinks them. I like with the White Claw. I don't like there's some other brands you can get, and we got one recently. White Claw is a lot like LaCroix. You can kind of. The flavor's not too hard. They're trying too hard on some of these other ones to make it flavorful. I'm just like, it's a seltzer.
Did you try the Natty Light one?
Oh, this is vodka and soda.
I saw that. I was like, Natural Light making one. I was like, nah, I'm good.
But yeah, no, Four Loko originally was an energy drink. And
I'm trying to lose some weight, Bill. Buy me some of them skinny beers.
Like a malt liquor style thing. But then now it's just pretty much a malt liquor. It's just very heavily flavored.
Huh.
They are disgusting.
They sound
you know
like
what
it.
I found that's the greatest thing ever?
Huh.
Sprite tropical mix with vodka.
You know
I'm not drinking much anymore, so
what?
I said I'm not drinking much anymore, so that just made my stomach turn. I like that. That will ruin tropical Sprite for me.
Hannah did. We buy those Great American little just carbonated drinks. They're essentially flavored carbonated drinks.
So LaCroix?
It's more than that.
Is it water?
I mean, no.
Everything's made with water.
Is it the one you gave me that was like...
Yeah, the taste... It's limeade.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, strawberry limeade or whatever. Anyway, she mixed that with vodka yesterday without anything else because she was asking what we did when we did the little drinking thing here, and I was like, well, I was doing lemonade, Sprite, and vodka, and she was like, well, that sounds good. I'm gonna do this because it's essentially because we didn't have Sprite. She's like, I'll mix with this, and she did just that and vodka. It was the worst thing
because it's not supposed to be mixed.
It was terrible.
No, Sprite remix and vodka, shit, that'll get her white girl.
That'll get a white girl wasted.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Even Jess, I'll let Jess try it because she knows I normally.
Yeah,
and she was like,
Well, okay, but to what? So that's always the thing about mixes. To what volume of each? Like
Well, that's where you find out your own. Like in her case, I would just do a little bit and keep adding Sprite until I felt that it was.
See, because
with me, I just
Hannah yesterday did half vodka and half
no.
And as soon as she did it, she said, "Oh, that's too much vodka."
Yeah, no, like I'm talking about,
and it was bad.
In a regular glass. It's just a preference of like I do about 2 fingers of whatever liquor, sometimes 3, depending what's going on. Of like say a shorter glass,
what,
and then you just fill it.
I
do about half and half.
Yeah,
but like say with this Sprite, because we drink I did it in a mason jar because we're classy, and I'd say probably about much vodka, and fill up the rest with Sprite.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and Jess liked it. Yeah, it wasn't super strong, but you don't want vodka to be super strong in your drink because it's stronger than you realize because it doesn't taste
I disagree, but it definitely tastes. But what I was getting at with that is that I think part of the reason Hannah did that, she said, how did you mix it when you were doing it? I said, I did a third vodka, a third Sprite, and a third lemonade, which still means it's 2/3 non-alcoholic.
So that's about a good measurement.
And I was like, that's what I was doing in those little tumblers that we had. And then she did half
So you don't
half.
drink
I was
much
like,
anymore, Saul? Is there a reason?
I haven't drank again
Not
since
really,
that.
no.
Nor do I really have
I
plans
thought
to.
it was one of those, I'm never drinking again.
No, like I started working out. And I feel like that's gonna it dehydrates you more.
Oh, yeah, no.
And so like, I feel like it's just counteracting me working out.
Where you work out at?
My home.
Your
I
home?
got some of those adjustable dumbbells that you can slide.
I got a Bowflex.
You do?
Bowflexes are actually pretty cool.
They're
People
just
shit on them,
expensive.
but yeah. But I mean, the idea makes sense. People shit on them like those don't do anything. No workout anything does anything if you don't do it. First of all, that's the. I know people who own Bowflexes and like I haven't lost any weight. I'm like, well, how often have you done your Bowflex? Once a month. What do you think was going to happen?
I had Wendy's for lunch.
Yeah.
I'm about to start going to the gym, though, because with my new sleep schedule, I was up at 3 a.m, just bored as shit. Like, you can only play video games so much where, like, after you play them a couple hours, like, oh, okay.
And you can do so much with dumbbells that like I just bought a pair of dumbbells.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And,
Dumbbells and a chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just body weight exercises on
Well, you
top.
can-
But dumbbells that help with the rest of your arm stuff too. But I mean, even just straight body work. Man, one night I didn't feel like going to the gym, so I did nothing but body weight exercises. And back in the house, I felt
You
like
could do tricep crunches on just like you can lower this chair down and just grab the back of it and just do tricep squats.
No, you need to order yourself a mace, a workout mace.
it's essentially a kettlebell. It's not really
No,
a mace.
but it's on a
kettlebell
stick.
on a long stick.
I have
on
a
a-
kettle. I have a kettlebell. Actually, Annie
Hey,
has.
next
a
time you're
kettlebell.
over, give it a swing around. You'll get sore.
Is it really called a workout mace?
Yeah.
Let's go look at what this
I
is.
expect maces to have some kind of a spike or
Oh,
something.
no. If anyone intrudes, I'm going to beat the shit out of them.
First thing I get, Christian, 50 best hits ever workout deluxe edition.
That is a.
Did you spell mace right?
MACE.
Yeah.
And then I got supersized me
How else do you spell
Do it on
mace?
Google. Why'd you do it on Amazon?
because I figured I could buy it on Amazon.
Yeah, I bought mine off Amazon.
Then why didn't it show up?
I
Here
don't
they are.
know.
They're way down lower.
Ask their algorithms. Maybe that Christian album's the biggest album, 2009.
Well, where did mace come from?
2009.
2009. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get a 30-pound one for $79.
You can't do a 30-pound one. I
Is
promise
it,
you.
Is it like you're lifting up a mace, like
Well,
a
it
sword,
depe-
and you're
it-
swinging it?
it depends
the
on
weight
where
is at the end. It depends on what you're holding.
So you,
Yeah, it's top end heavy.
Yeah, so I thought it'd be light though. I got a 10-pound one.
Oh yeah,
And you hold that fucker at the end, it's like
and your forearms probably just
yeah, your whole body's just so
Yeah.
I do. And that's the whole point of it though. It gets those weird muscles in your core, like you can feel it as you're holding it out, like all through that center.
It's like, almost like planks too. I get because you're having to tense up.
Yeah, planks are great
Dude,
for your
I'm
core.
a little bitch when it comes to planks. I do it in
Oh no, yeah, dude, me too. Like I sit there, I've gotten to 44
that's probably why I have back problems. 'cause-
seconds, and like I'm just sitting there shaking on the carpet the entire time. Like
You know, that's what when I first started doing them because people said they're good for your core. They're like, you got to work up until you can do them for 2 minutes, and I was doing them right. I had somebody double check me because I was like, I got to the 2 minutes the second time I did it. Like, I got to like a minute and a half the first time, and
Are you
and,
sure
and-
you're doing your weight? Because you find to the point of where it starts having.
yes, and don't get me wrong, the whole time I'm there, I'm shaking. But I can do the 2 minutes. I probably still can. I haven't done them in a while. But I thought I was doing them wrong. So I went to my gym, and there's a guy who's there who always does them. And I was like, hey, man, this sounds weird, but do you mind looking at me plank to see if I'm... Because you can't see your own back. It's hard to
Yeah.
kind of tell if you're doing what you're supposed to
Hey,
be doing.
and form's really important, all that stuff, and that's.
Yeah, so... And he was like, no, you're doing it. And I can do it 2 minutes. Like, it's not easy, but I can do it.
Or you're watching videos of people swinging them around.
no, there's a review on there that said, "Do not buy. Ball fell off while swinging." I'm like, that's a death trap.
Which one was it? Because mine doesn't even attach. Mine's like industrial welded looking.
Let me see if
Well,
I can,
yeah,
like, find it.
it's a full-on, all-together in one...
Yeah. I wouldn't get one where it's just like a metal ball on a
screw
stick.
in.
Yeah.
Blaze, I
Yeah,
was
it
always...
screws in.
I was
You know,
waiting to
this one's-
see-
Oh, and I see why, because
Is it supposed to be something you can also put a handle on and make it be a normal kettlebell?
no, it's
You can probably
could
change
buy-
the weights out.
You can buy the weights for it.
Lazy.
So
No,
you get a
just-
different stick. Yeah, just buy them all.
This man swinging around a 35-pound ball and it just kept flying off.
kills your dog.
I kept waiting for Blaze though, and what's funny is you made the joke too, but I was hoping it's like Blaze was like, I'm just gonna go out at like 5 o'clock in the morning, just in my
Oh, yeah.
underwear, swinging
Went
it around.
around in the yard because I'm in the country and I.
See, I would have liked it a lot better back when you lived off of Oaklawn or whatever. That'd have been hilarious to do in that
like an
neighborhood.
actual, in a like busy street,
Yeah,
just out on the porch bouncing on a
There's all kind of weird like workout things. Like there's it is a fit game workout mask, 24 breathing resistance levels fitness mask.
Well, you know what's more funny about all the workout stuff and all of the diet stuff is it seems like all the stuff that goes into diet and weight gain or muscle gaining and stuff like that is everybody has a million different workout routines that are supposed to be best for you. And it's like, no, all those other ones are 100% lies. This one's great.
No,
then you have the ones that are on the food side. It's like the food side one cracks me up because you have the people that are like keto or bust. And obviously keto works for certain people. Mm-hmm. And then you have the people that are like keto absolutely doesn't work at all. And it's like, and I have the one true thing. I'm like, the problem with that is, if anything, this is just telling me that
they have a product to sell.
There's enough different body types that keto works for some people incredibly well. Carb-heavy diets work for some people in a weird way.
Like Jess, keto didn't work for her at all. Like she, we still do low carbs and whatnot, but like trying to actually get rid of them, she got real weak and
Oh yeah.
Like bad feeling.
See, I didn't.
Keto flu.
To me, everybody's supposed to go through that if you do the keto. Is what the people who behind keto say.
It didn't go
how
away.
long are you supposed to last? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how long. But the thing about that all comes out is it's obvious to me that there has to be multiple body types. And the problem with that is I figured that out kind of on my own. I'm like, well, there's got to be multiple body types. And now you have the people that are starting to market into there are 3 different metabolic types. And that's probably not untrue, but now they're just using that as a marketing ploy of you need to do this if you have this metabolic type, and you need to do this if you have this metabolic type. And now it's like, damn, who can figure out how the hell to lose weight? The problem with the internet is that it's almost to the deficiency of things sometimes. It's like, the idea of trying to get healthier and understanding what to do is so daunting because one thing says you need to do this and you'll be like, okay, cool, I think I could pull that off. And then immediately you read something else. It's like, if you do that, it's going to fucking kill you. And you'll be like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, so I guess I'm just going to keep eating these fucking cheeseburgers.
I ain't dead yet.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. Them chicken nuggets ain't clogged my arteries up yet.
It's one of those weird
The life
things
expectancy of my family's 63, but
hell, that's a pretty good life. Now,
Grandpa Bill made it 82.
God, man. Honestly, I'm surprised my grandpa made it to 91. With how Grandpa ate.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing.
Well, if you live through the Depression, you could eat it however the fuck you want.
You've earned the right.
So like he ate a lot. Like if I remember correctly, he drank like a lot of instant coffee and like ate like sandwiches. Like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
He drank a ton of coffee every day. He'd eat peanut butter and jelly throughout the day. Peanut butter alone on a sandwich throughout the day. He'd eat a ton of bread. He'd eat beans. He'd leave them out and he'd just eat them throughout 3 or 4 days. Yeah, he'd cook a pot of like black-eyed peas, something like that, and then eat a little bit. Eat out of that same pot like 6 times that day, just little bites here and there. Grandpa was a snacker.
Have you tried beans on toast?
That's good.
I've not tried beans on
it's
toast.
Delicious.
Well,
it's very British.
What kind of bean?
Well, you just get like baked beans.
Yeah,
because I've done like
you don't do barbecue beans or
ranch.
I've done
No,
like
nothing.
ranch style beans and bread when I was poor.
Oh yeah, but no,
And it was fine.
No,
I
you,
mean,
like,
like
you
it
toast the bread a little
baked
bit,
beans.
and you put some
That's what I mean.
baked beans on it. Then you put some cheese. Like,
I don't put cheese. I've never
done
tried cheese.
yeah, you put cheese on it, then you bake it again.
I've done pepper, and that's real good.
Oh, yeah.
Pepper and just a little bit of like hot sauce.
I've gotten to where since like my breakfast is in the evening when I wake up.
Oh,
I like having beans with it sometimes. Like
Just eat reverse. Like I want to eat dinner for breakfast. Lunch will
I eat
still
whatever the
work
hell-
out, and then I'll eat.
essentially I eat whatever the hell I feel like. Just to be real.
I've always wanted to have like a full English breakfast, but I don't know of any
it's
place
awesome.
that like would do it.
When we went to Universal, the Harry Potter World, we had a package where you get to go early into just the world, and then they provide you get to have a little breakfast, and there was sure enough British breakfast stuff, which I know that's not authentic, and we've done our own versions before at home, just because.
I hate mushrooms and tomatoes, so that would not be included. But everything else there, like the sausage,
I used to hate
breads.
mushrooms. I still do, depending on how it's prepared.
It's all texture for me.
Yeah, because if
slimy.
it's this little slicey, slimy ones, no, that's horrible.
Yeah, I
but,
hate those.
But if you get dried ones, kind of like how dried tomatoes are,
Kind of like a chip.
almost.
Because even the ones that aren't slimy, but the ones that are like in between, they're still puffy, but they're not slimy and they're not hard. I have a huge textural problem with those. Like,
Yeah, that's what it is. They taste fine. They taste almost borderline meat-ish.
Oh yeah,
But it's like slimy.
it's a texture
I
issue
tried the
too, 'cause-
Portobello hamburger replament bun. This has been years ago now. It was the one that they do at Reggie's here in town.
You're supposed to replace the meat with the.
Oh well, they have both. But yes, yeah. They have it to where you can do that, or you can do the meat with it. I've tried it both ways. Didn't care for it either way.
do either.
Mario used to do it where it was the meat every time, and it was bread, but with that in between. And I didn't care for that. But then I was looking it up, and to be fair, all I did was ask them. There was somebody else that was like, "Well, we just replace the bread with it and still eat the meat because it still ends up being healthier along the carb realm."
And that makes more sense. I mean, not more sense. That makes sense.
But it
like
makes
it's enjoyability.
Yeah,
depending on
exactly.
what
So
you
I was
like,
okay, I'll try that.
stuffed mushrooms. Are
Neither of them were good to me.
Stuffed mushrooms are good.
I don't know what it is about the texture, but they tasted fine. It did taste meaty. Like when it was the patty,
Meaty.
I was like, I get it from a taste perspective, but this doesn't feel right. And it's not even that it feels right. I should take that back. Even if I didn't even know what a burger was, it did not feel enjoyable.
It tastes like I took a sautéed green pepper and I covered it in oil and it just slipped around my mouth. That's exactly what it tasted like.
Okay, all right.
Very slippery, very slimy, very chewy.
Now that's the one thing I will say. The one thing that I feel like it doesn't do, even though it tastes meaty, I think that maybe that's what it is it tastes meaty. Like it tastes like you'd expect it to be some kind of a meat-based product, but it doesn't fall apart or like it doesn't chew like any form of meat you've ever had.
It's not even that. Like it's not an expectation for me. It's just the texture. If the texture was different, then it would have been fine. But there was no real expectation going in.
Well, I think it's a mixture of those things for me personally.
Yeah.
I think it's not only is the texture just off in general, but then I think there's also that the texture may have been off to me because of the fact that it tastes meaty, so your brain's like, well, why doesn't it even act like any kind of meat? You know, I kind of get it. It's like most meat falls apart. If it's chicken, it'll string apart. If it's beef that you've cooked, if it's steak style, it'll string apart. Or if it's ground, it'll break apart in the grounds.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do any of that. It's kind of like, it tastes like meaty bread.
Well, for me...
but it's, I don't know, fluffier than bread.
The first time I ever had them was on pizza.
Oh. I don't think I've ever had mushrooms on pizza.
Dude, I have a coworker... Like when we get pizza as a company or whatever, like we have it like in a break room, she gets double mushroom, double pickles, hamburger.
You get pickles on a pizza?
Yep.
That is terrifying.
Pickled pineapple peppered pizza.
Yucky.
People packing a pickle.
Is it like dried pickles?
No.
Because like a normal pickle would just
pickles.
destroy that crust.
Last time.
Well, it depends on if they're dried out or not.
You might like this one, Saul. We
vinegar.
did Philly cheesesteak and pineapple on our pizza from Domino's last.
I still have never had pineapple on pizza.
It's good. I mean, people like to make it this big deal. Either you like it or you don't. It makes sense. But thing is, though, I don't get it with red sauce. I don't really like it when it's with red sauce. I get white sauce with the pineapple. It makes it different. Like
that's even more different than what I was expecting.
Yeah, I get white sauce with pineapple and the Philly steak.
Yeah, that doesn't... I mean, I would try it, but I wouldn't buy it. Like, I would definitely try a piece because I like pineapple. Pineapple's good.
I never liked pineapple on pizza till my brother did it with the white sauce one day. I was like, huh.
I think it'd be better with the white sauce.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense to me. The
I mean,
red sauce, there's a lot going on.
You have a sweet fruit plus like a creamy sauce versus a sweet fruit versus
a spicy sauce.
Yeah.
Not spicy, but you know.
Fragrant, I just don't think that it matches well with the tomatoey stuff.
Yeah,
I think the white sauce works better.
That's what I meant. That's what I was trying to describe, the tomatoey with the seasoned tomatoes.
I'd say, it's because it's seasoned. I wouldn't say...
You notice the sauce a lot more with something like tomato or pineapple on the top.
Yeah.
I was like, because the first time I was like, huh.
And what's more weird is I like sweet marinara and tomato-based sauces, but the sweet is a different type of sweet than... So actually, it's pineapple on pizza is even worse the sweeter the sauce on the pizza is. The more hearty it is, the more palatable it is. But I think the reason that when you go to white sauce it works is because it's not sweet at all.
Awesome.
It's just all, it's like, rich and hearty.
I think it changed a lot of people's mind on it too.
Yeah, maybe. But even
people
then,
like to pick up a sword on that and be like, oh no, pizza.
Even then, man, I think it's like the same idea of what I just said for I hate pickles.
Like,
putting pickles on pizza is not going to be good.
Sense.
So if you don't like pineapples,
Larry's does
why
that.
would you want?
I don't see the point. People get mad about pineapple on pizza when there's people making fucking hamburger pizza where like there's literally mustard and pickles on the goddamn pizza.
Yeah, which is too much.
That's
for me.
It's weird. It's like if the crust is right, then it's essentially the same thing. It's just delivered to you differently.
Yeah, it's like all the same ingredients together.
Yeah, but it's the name that throws you off.
Well, it's not even the name. Honestly, it's the taste. It hits your palate way differently. When you're eating,
I love mustard, but that doesn't make sense on a pizza.
Well, it depends on the sauce. If it's like ketchup, and like
they're not going to make ketchup. It's a pizza.
That's what I'm saying. Is that depends on the sauce.
But more important, that's what I'm saying though. It's still that
squirt.
You don't have the layer of bread that differentiates in between these things. Like when you're eating a burger and you have all these different things on there, you have the way it hits your palate is really important.
Yeah,
and it'd be really weird if mustard was on top of the burger. and all you did was take a bite, and the first thing to hit your palate was mustard, then bread, then everything else. So that's exactly what happens in that pizza.
It wouldn't be bread and everything else.
And here's the bigger problem: is pizza's also it's flatter, so it's all these things hitting your palate in a way more condensed.
Well, that's what I said.
bit.
But it's the delivery system that's that. And I think that
you're right.
Pizza, like if somebody says hamburger pizza, like let's get some, and then it's like this is literally a hamburger pizza. Like this is
Instead
not
of like hamburger meat.
Yeah. Also, hamburger meat on pizza sucks.
I don't care for it, but Italian sausage,
That's the way to go.
Quite delicious. But that's one of those weird things. Man, I know that I'm super basic when it comes to pizza, but that's just because I've tried a bunch of different pizzas. I like some specialty pizzas, like the places we have in here that'll do like Alfredo pizza that's all by itself, or Alfredo pepperoni, or lasagna pizza is very good.
I usually do that one pineapple one, and then the other one we'll either do an actual Philly cheesesteak pizza with a white sauce, or we'll get barbecue chicken.
That's the way to go right there.
See, the Philly cheesesteak one with white sauce sounds like it'd be great.
Jalapenos or something on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people get onions on those. I don't get onions. I get jalapenos.
I don't like jalapenos that much. That's why that doesn't
I can
really.
see pineapple being
like
good on that
sauce
too,
much
though.
out of that.
Yeah,
Because pineapple, pineapple and barbecue sauce is kind of
they had a chicken. It was and they might still probably have it actually at Domino's. It was pineapple jalapeno chicken. It was good. It was sweet and spicy.
You're wearing a pineapple hat.
I am wearing a pineapple hat.
I bought a pineapple today.
Is this a conspiracy?
White gummy bears are my favorite flavor.
Have y'all been paid by the
those, when
Illuminati?
we went to South by So What, the big pineapple drinks.
Oh,
like they were
God.
using the pineapple to hold the.
They would
drinks
hold
with that.
out.
That's too extra.
They would hold out the
at
pineapple.
a metal concert where people throw their shit constantly. I was like, that's just.
That's dangerous.
Honestly, I was surprised I never saw anybody throw one.
Yeah.
It kind of restored my faith in how crazy people can be in those things. And it made me think that, at least they think 2 seconds before they throw a fucking pineapple in somebody's eye.
Yeah.
Middle of a mosh pit. What? Fuck! Was that a pineapple? and if I was moshing and then out of nowhere I got hit by a fucking pineapple and like stabbed in the back of the head, good lord.
Well, they're not really that pokey. What's funny as a kid, I always used to think pineapple was just
like spiky.
Yeah, I
but
thought it was
dude,
just
hold on,
pokey
though.
death fruit, and they're not really pokey at all.
No, but if somebody throws it at you with considerable force, it's gonna fucking hurt.
It's not gonna be the pikes that are hurting. It's the fact that it's just dense mass coming
Dude,
at your head.
the pikes are not gonna. They're not gonna help at any standard. I mean, that's like okay. Hold on.
Which pikes are you talking about? Are you talking about the ones on the side or the plant part where you?
No, I do mean the ones on the side.
Yank the fresh pineapple out of the ground.
I do mean on the side. Those are definitely not going to help. I mean, it's kind of like. Look, my point. It's like when people say that you can
That'd
technically
probably be the most fun fruit to throw, though.
Look, you can stab somebody with a butter knife, right?
Especially if you get it by the.
But here's the thing: you don't have
to stab with anything with enough blunt force.
Exactly. That's my point with that. You can say, well, the teeth don't really make you. The teeth and the butter knife don't help to stab at all, really.
No,
but it'd be better if they weren't there because they're just going to fucking hurt that much more if you ever did get stabbed with the butter knife. That's all my point is.
Serrated and cardboard cuts are like the two worst cuts.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like when Jonathan
cardboard finger paper cut.
Paper cut. Oh man, that's
I won't go too far. But when Jonathan stabbed himself in the leg, I was like, "Why'd you do it with a serrated knife, you fucking idiot?" I'm like, it'd have been way cleaner if you just did a fish knife.
Yeah, if you did it with a razor, they just put a butterfly stitch on it and tell you to the fuck home.
I'm like, yeah, of course you just stab a fucking huge, and it was a knife we used to cook with all the time. I'm like, you fucking asshole. Out there. I didn't put a name to it. We're good.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did.
I did not put a last name to it. You know how many friends I have named Jonathan? Bang, bang, bang. I thought about it before it left my mouth, but you know what? He might even go into that. I don't know. Hey, Jonathan, come on the show.
Yeah. What was going through your mind?
That was an interesting conversation. The joke around that was for years that his girlfriend did it to him because it was just them in the house. So of course I got a call. Jonathan stabbed himself in the leg, and don't get me wrong, I believe that Jonathan did it. But I can also sheerly believe the common person would be like, "Who would stab themselves in the leg?" But a crazy bitch, she might stab her.
And then make you say it was you.
So this isn't Jay we're talking about,
huh?
Well,
Jay.
Isn't it Jay?
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. We can talk about this more later. I think you know about this story, right?
I know about the story, but I don't remember who he was dating at the time.
No,
That's why I
it
said Jay.
wasn't Jay.
It
No.
wasn't Jay.
No.
So how would anybody think that would happen with her?
Not at all. Not at. Oh, you know that's a rabbit hole to go down. Let's just go ahead and break over to this. So Blaze, all week essentially, has been sending me Facebook messages of crazy European
bands that are
different
like
forms of metal.
Some of them are
bands.
power metal, some are Viking metal, some are. And then essentially I found an Austrian System of the Downish.
That's the
type
best way to
band
describe it. Yeah.
with a female singer.
Well, a female and male singer, both. Yeah. Well, the singer is not both male and female. There is a male singer and a female singer.
Well, I mean,
I don't know how they identify, so maybe I shouldn't put these things out on them. No, but either way, that's a pretty good. That's an app description. I mean, it's what it sounds like.
they're catchy though.
Very catchy. They have it's one of those things where me and Blade's talking about that video we showed you of the guy doing the little like leg slap, weird dance. We're like, could you imagine? Like, it looks kind of silly in the music video, but if you were at a concert and you saw somebody doing that,
someone was doing it, it'd be like, fuck.
You'd be like, this guy fucking rules.
I mean, it's only silly in the music video if you're watching from behind the scenes.
Exactly. You're watching from behind a screen differently. You know what it would have fit with perfectly? Do you remember we butter the bread with butter?
Yeah, I remember we buttered.
It just would have fit perfectly with that. It would have been great. You ever heard them, Saul? They were at the same concert where we were worried people were going to throw pineapples, but it didn't happen.
Was this also a Don Bronco or
Bronco? This has been 5 years ago, South by So What?
Oh.
And then there was another one called Glory Hammer. Have you heard of that?
That actually does sound familiar. What is that?
It's
power metal. They're space paladins. They have a story.
I have heard of that.
Dude, they're cheese for the sake of cheese, and it's great.
Oh, it's so bad.
No, dude.
In a good way.
It's like I found them, coincidentally enough, from listening to Do Oakley.
Did you ever listen to
Do Oakley? What is that?
Yeah, that's the...
I don't think anyone in the Discord...
If you led me to say that, if you said
Oakley,
that you found...
Oakley?
Oh, Oakley Dokley.
Oakley Dokley,
yeah. The Flanders band.
Yeah.
Did you listen to Diggy Diggy Hole that I sent you? The new one with the...
You sent me.
I didn't send you. I put it on Discord on music.
Oh, it's rare that I am in the music Discord. I have that muted.
Oh,
Kiki
Saul doesn't want to
posting-
hear about your great music people.
No, Kiki be posting weeb shit in there. I'll find it eventually.
It's these guys that essentially dress like drawers and like all their songs are Lord of the Ring themed, but they covered that Diggy Diggy Hole the song that Yogcast did. Like forever ago.
I saw that and I'm like, that must be some Viking metal. Going off the name and then the thumbnail.
Thing is, it's really cool. I mean, like, not something that's like, oh, this is what I take seriously and listen to all the time, but it's like the Glory
cool
Hammer.
as a
It's
joke.
kind of fun to listen to Glory Hammer sometimes because it's fun to, like, a metal song, be like, talking about throwing lightning bolts
if
and
I'm being
goblin
honest,
killers. And
I think Glory Hammer, I think that their stuff is way heightened by watching the music video. If anything,
I even listen to it. It's silly.
I mean, listening to it's silly, sure, but I think that here's the thing about listening to something: you can't always tell when you're listening to something how serious it's being.
Oh, the
but the
videos,
moment you see a video, you could be like, "Oh, they had no." There's an inverse to that. Then there's songs that are 100% serious that, for some reason, when it comes time to make the video, they're like,
we don't know what to do here.
It's like a Periphery Scarlet. It's a totally serious song. The moment they get in the music video, it's giant ketchup and mustard bottles in space fighting. I don't know if you remember that video.
I remember it.
But yeah, so it's like, obviously it was just them having fun with the video. But I feel like if a song's already goofy, the chances of a goofy song having a really serious video are almost impossible.
But I also found pirate metal. Ailstorm is the name.
Hailstorm?
Ale.
Oh, okay.
Ale.
I've heard of Hailstorm.
No, Ailstorm.
Jesus.
Like ALE Storm. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one I was like, okay, I refused to go down that one. I went back and then retraced back and found that.
I'm not as big a fan of pirates as I am Lord of the Rings in general.
There's always those weird YouTube adventures like you go down and it's like you get to a point in that hole and you're just like, I need to go back.
Some of the songs were super dope and it's like awesome. And then you get to something that's like at first that when I sent Brett, the one we're talking about with the Austrian System of the Down band, at first I was like, okay, no. And then I actually kind of listened to the songs like, that's...
Dude, when you first sent it to me, you didn't say anything either. You just said, send. And I listened to it and I was like, I feel like he thought that I was supposed to laugh at it. And don't get me wrong, I did laugh at it, but I was like, this
was
is
kind of cool.
Cool as shit.
That's why I sent it to you because I was like, it's a mix because you're like,
And then the more I've listened to it, the more I watch it, I'm like, this is just badass in a still goofy way. Yeah. Like I would tell somebody. Perfect example of how sometimes music is just so weird like that. So like that, you can say like you listen to it because it's half cool and it's half goofy, right? Mm-hmm. It's funny to listen to. It's exactly why I listen to all the Jared Alone stuff, where it's like musically it's actually pretty cool, but it's all in service of making fun of a genre. And if anything, I say Glory Hammer is like they're participating in the genre while also making fun of it, poking fun at themselves for the genre.
Because there's some people that take it super serious.
Yeah, which just sounds hard
like
to do.
that Unleash the Archers when I showed you. Like the music was cool, but you're just kind of like,
Yeah. And see, and I'm not
They're
hating on those
Canadian,
things.
too.
There's all. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would have imagined they were
no, they're Canadian.
European as
They're
well.
trying too hard.
See,
listen to the Glory Hammer.
is that a
people
weird
talk.
thing?
Yeah, Canadians be like, "Oh, you've got your own culture. Quit it."
Well, I guess that's my thing. Is I guess
You're
I
from
can,
the Great White North.
I
not
can
the-
believe that someone would more seriously take the idea of Viking metal if they come from somewhere near where Vikings originated, because it's like, oh, it's a culture thing for them. Like, it doesn't make sense to us in the same sense because we don't have that sense of a strong pride against that culture because it doesn't really affect us in
like
that
if
way.
we did,
like,
like
we can
if we
find it
did folk
interesting.
metal or something, and be like, okay,
Yeah, sure. But that's what I mean. It's like, for people getting into that, it's fine. But when you think about people doing I almost feel like it's completely disingenuous for a band from Canada to try and rip off the stuff. Like, I don't know. That's a weird one. I mean, I guess you could say that their family could have lineage from those areas, but it still just seems weird.
it's whatever you like, man.
Yeah, sure. I don't really care. I don't believe in the idea of cultural appropriation to that extent, definitely, to where it's like you shouldn't be able to have... Like, if I wanted to make Viking metal here, I should be able to do it.
It just makes you a poser.
It just feels wrong in a weird... It
Poser,
feels wrong
bro.
to me, partially because I have no interest in that. So if I made a Viking metal band because it was popular, but I didn't actually care for Viking
Well,
metal...
like I told you, it'd be cool as shit to do that and go like tour different Renaissance fairs playing. That'd be like legit Renaissance fairs.
Yeah, sure. I guess to me it'd be like taking a different take on like the Gwar idea of like, well, we're going to make ourselves this random space people. We can throw whatever armor together we want, and then it's just based off of what style of stuff do you like. Throw it all together, make your character, and name him something ridiculous, whatever you want to name him. You know what I mean? Saul, have you ever listened to Gwar?
Yeah, long time ago, mainly with Viva La Bam stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were on there. Yeah, didn't they have it where Odorous woke up next to April,
I'm pretty sure they did, yeah.
or had April wake up next to him?
And they did at least 2 concerts out at the house. And I think one was a housewarming party. Like, that was them first moving in.
Good Lord!
Imagine being neighbors to that dude and then just seeing that out in his backyard. It's like, what the hell moved in next to me?
And then what was that other show that followed it? Was it Bam's
Unholy Marriage.
Unholy Union, or something like that?
Actually, I think you're right,
I thought it was
yeah.
something about I don't know. I thought it was something about like the castle thing. I don't know.
Well, it was him
What?
getting married to whoever
Bam.
he's not actually married
Bam's,
to now.
Bam's moving castle.
No.
No, I don't know. That whole series of shows, that was so weird to me that you can go from something like Jackass and then somehow find your way into Viva La Bam, which was like
And the Wild Boys and
half reality show, half Jackass, and then Viva La
There's-
Bam, which was just a reality show.
There's a podcast that I stumbled across one day on YouTube, and it's a really, really good podcast. That is like a skateboarding podcast. But,
I remember you telling me about
yeah, and I'm going to go look for it real quick. But it is, they've had Bam on there twice now. And I was watching it again because they're really enjoyable watches if you've ever liked Viva La Bam or Bam Margera or anything like that. And my laptop's in tablet mode somehow.
Mine does that too. Yeah, Bam is one of those weird things where almost everybody from our era knows who Bam is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd even go as far as to say he's a generational piece for us. Like, you know,
Close
people
this
who are
and
on the
pull it back
high end of the older end of our generation and the younger end of our generation, like that good little 10 to 12 year period, all kind of have an idea of who Bam was. Definitely since he came around again. Like, you know, we got into him from like CKY and Jackass.
Yeah.
And then kept watching with Viva La Bam. But for other people, they were able to get in at Viva La Bam and kind of see that. And that was
Bam's
back when,
Unholy Union and stuff too.
yeah, sure. Oh, and that was when skateboarding was real high too. So Bam was also tied into skateboarding.
Yeah,
which
that
another
was
big
like
thing.
early to mid 2000s where skateboarding
He was in Grind.
He was in Grind.
He was in Grind.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie in so long, but I will never forget we're in the foundation for what is it? Supporting the twins or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know that dude, he's in How I Met Your Mother. Remember the dude that was trying to pretend like he loved Ted, and, you know, his student that was being like, oh, you remember that student? Is How I Met Your Mother, one of Ted's students said it was doing that to get a grade, or was that, am I mixing a Friends episode up with?
The
Well, which guy are you talking about? Are you talking about the guy who had the lisp
No,
and the
with
dark hair?
in the cast, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
might-
he's
that
in
might
How I
be
Met Your Mother.
That
'Cause
might
How I
be
Met Your
Friends,
Mother-
because there was one of them was a professor on Friends too, and yeah, okay, it was Friends.
I still don't. I'd have to look. I can't remember that actor's name.
Yeah, he was in an episode.
the podcast I was thinking of is called The Nine Club, and there's 2 episodes of Bam. There's also
Is
and
it
I
spelled Niegn?
no, it's spelled Nine.
This is that guy, right? Matt Jensen is apparently his name.
But There's another podcast called the Bathroom Break Podcast, and that is actually hosted by Rab himself.
Yeah, I forgot he was in a Rat Race. But so Friends was it. Whew.
And Rab himself has done one with not only Bam Margera, but also his parents.
I used to hate him.
Rab himself?
Yeah. Out of all of them, it's just like, ugh.
He
There's
looks
a
to be
couple of them
doing
that
fairly
was just-
good for himself now.
Well, hold on. Isn't Rab himself the one who's like Matt Damon's
like cousin or something.
nephew or something like that?
Yeah.
He was the crazy-haired one that was always...
No, that's Raekwon.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's Raekwon, and then there's Aaron, the guy who always loses, the guy who
Loses
lost his
his
teeth.
tooth
Yeah,
and
and
always
Yeah.
himself.
Aaron Dangerfield. Rab himself is like the fairly normal looking guy.
I don't think he pooped himself. That wasn't Aaron.
On the right.
Who
Aaron
was
pooped himself.
Yeah, Aaron pooped himself all the time.
And especially in the movies.
Hold on, is he the one that did the thing where he went to the? I didn't think that that's who it was, but hold on.
Coincidentally, though, he did have Raekwon on a podcast, and he looks a lot normal now. He's actually
It wasn't Aaron. That's what I was saying. Aaron's the guy who lost his teeth and did the pube beards. He didn't poop himself. The guy who pooped himself is the guy who did the butt volcano in Jackass 3, and his name's not. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Now that you said
Butt
Aaron.
volcano.
Oh god, I gotta remember his name. It's killing me.
Is it Rodney Dangerfield?
Dave England was the one who would always poop himself.
That's the guy I hated.
It's this dude.
Yeah.
The guy that was kind of.
Yeah, I disliked him a lot.
Let me see him. Yeah, I hate that dude.
I don't hate him, but I mean, he was definitely one of the smallest parts of Jackass. He was. Aaron was pretty
the same
small
guy that
too.
lost his tooth, but I guess not.
No, Aaron. I can't remember how you say his name.
Aaron
but-
Dangerfield.
Is it Dangerfield?
Yeah.
No, it's Dangerfield.
They do look similar, though. I'm not gonna lie, they do look somewhat similar.
Doodle-doo.
But
I don't think so. No, it's Aaron McGehee. That's what I thought,
where did I get Dangerfield from?
and that's him. They don't look alike at all, in my
Let me see.
opinion. But
I guess not. Yeah, you're right. It's been a little while.
yeah, he's a.
It's been that way. It has been a little while.
I watched Jackass 3 not that long ago because it was on Netflix, and I was like, I'm bored.
Didn't we watch that at
We watched-
PSX one time?
We watched Jackass 2, 2.5, the uncut version. Jackass is a weird thing. I don't know if that would work in today's.
It wouldn't.
I don't think it could start. in
Johnny
today's era.
Knoxville said that he would like to have a reunion movie, and he said he's even talked to Bam and people before about it.
Yeah.
And now that Steve-O, who's like done a completely like 180 with his life and turned his life completely around,
He was setting himself on fire for
Dude,
stand up.
he was setting himself on fire. That dude had all kinds of addictions.
Yeah.
He is now a vegan wildlife fighter
Uh-huh.
who
When
doesn't
he-
even touch Tylenol.
That Joe Rogan podcast, or the couple of Joe Rogan
Oh,
podcasts he
dude,
did were great.
They are all great, and to
Yeah.
learn how crazy his life was, like leading up to like him moving everywhere, living in like different countries and everything with his parents, going to like Catholic school and
Dude,
stuff.
it's the kind of thing where you hear some of the stories. It's like, how do you have that much money? But he's like, oh, I had a completely I own the entire. It was something weird like that. He had like an entire apartment that he just kept for girls to stay in.
Yeah, and I think his dad was like somebody in Big Tobacco.
I have no clue.
He a Pepsi Cola.
That's what it was. Yeah,
Oh,
I think that Steve-O mentioned that something happened with a buyout or something, that like that company was being bought a Big Tobacco company or something, or they partnered with it.
good Lord. I don't know. That's one of those weird things. Some of it makes you wonder. It's like how much of that was just like normal people coming up, but they were doing CKY so long ago. It's like I've always wondered, like, did they have any real connections? I didn't know about the Pepsi thing for them, but it's like I don't know. Some layer of Bam seems like he came from something already, but it may have just been that he got famous so young. Because I
Well, you
remember the
can
CKY
see-
movies pretty well.
Well, like back when they first got famous, his parents still lived in that. It was like a double wide
Yeah,
on some land.
you can see like his original house,
Yeah.
like in those early
the
videos, he's
early
in it.
episodes.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, I
but-
mean, they didn't look like near what he ended up
Well,
having.
absolutely.
and he goes and that's what I really liked about the two podcasts I mentioned for the Nine Club, is he goes into like how much money he made and stuff for things. He's like, they gave me a pair of Nikes to wear, and it's like $25,000. Here you go, just to wear a pair of Nikes for one occasion. And then he said that like he got paid millions upon millions of dollars for the Tony Hawk games alone too, and he said he still gets money from those.
Oh, I bet.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I absolutely
and
bet.
there's all kinds of things in there too, and
What a face
I wonder
to
if
put on it.
if he still gets money for his skateboards. I mean,
Oh, he definitely does.
I mean, I'm sure he gets. I wonder how much comparatively. Is
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
know.
I'm sure he still gets money, but is it money, or is it like, oh, I get
well,
money for it?
on the Nine Club, he said that the money he gets from his skateboard sales alone, because he still has the toppest. His skateboard for Element.
Yeah.
Is still the top selling skateboard of all time.
Dude, Blaze and I almost bought one the last time that we were in Dallas
Because it was so sick looking.
Dude,
It
I
had the
love
heartogram,
Element boards.
I
Even
love
though he
Element,
ripped the
but all of his are
heartogram
cool.
hard, but I wonder if they get a share of that.
They
No,
almost
it's a shape.
undoubtedly.
But that's dead serious.
Well, hold on. The heartogram was not. It's not like a base level shape. You know what I mean?
No, but he goes into it. He said that because the symbol was comprised of nothing but basic shapes, he said that they couldn't give it. But he said he's given
Villa.
Villa, yeah, he's given them fair amount of money for it, and Villa doesn't have a problem with him using it.
Yeah, because that's the
He
thing.
seems like a super chill dude.
Yeah, like he's got a damn out of anything.
To be fair, I don't think that band would be anywhere if it wasn't for Viva La Bam.
No, that band was way big before
Yeah,
then.
no,
I mean,
yeah, in
I'm
Europe,
dead serious.
yeah. In Europe, they were
I
huge.
heard about that band in this small town because of Viva La Bam.
Well, yeah, that's what
Well,
I'm saying. In
I-
Europe, though,
Well,
because
yeah.
you got to consider just because
Well,
they're not
still-
huge in America doesn't mean they. I mean, they 15, 20
That's
million views
fair.
in Europe is still 15, 20 million views.
That's
in
fair,
Europe.
but still, it's like
They,
the amount of
they
people
didn't
that
come here very often.
the amount of people
They
because they're from
stayed over
Iceland,
there.
right?
Yeah,
Finland.
No, Finland.
Finland.
Them and Children of Bodom are from Finland.
Yeah, see, the thing about
They're
that
all
is
kind of.
but I mean,
different
They kiss
people.
each other a bunch.
this is what I'd say. Good lord. Definitely, like those videos you used to watch of Alexi Leahy. Oh, good lord.
Yeah, they
Ugh.
get drunk and pass out in bathtubs. I'm sure him did that.
Probably. But no, him's biggest albums, their two biggest albums, arguably, in my opinion, definitely the ones that most people think back on and go, oh, yeah, this is like prime him, were all out or coming out before Viva La Bam.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm
Like
saying
Darklight's a huge album for them, and Darklight was coming out like when Viva La Bam was just getting started.
right. But I'm saying that due to the fact that Viva La Bam spread that,
Yeah,
name
it definitely
and
helped.
became a
I
household thing.
won't say it didn't help, but yeah, but
Yeah, emo culture.
emo. That's the thing is that
That was Icelandic.
they were
or,
part Finland, yeah,
Finland emo culture.
Finlandic.
Finnish,
They didn't-
dumbass.
I don't really think they didn't really have an emo culture. They just had goth metal, and that
Pretty
was,
much, yeah.
And they just kind of
Black-
spread out.
Well,
From
but,
that.
but that's my point is emo culture. And I think that him probably would have made it big over here already because the thing about it was that time period, the 2004 to 2006 is like prime emo culture here. And you know that from things like even like the Black,
talked about, like-
the Black Parade's one of the, My Chemical Romance, the Black Parade's one of
Yeah.
the most known albums.
And we talked about it on the
in
last one that I was
emo
on.
culture, so.
That's like Red Jumpsuit Apparatus and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you know what's weird is that emo music's still going perfectly strong, but it was at
Yeah.
such a height then that people who don't even know that Hawthorne Heights is still a band or have been a band completely know their first two albums or at least know a lot of the first
And
two
that's when
albums.
Hot Topic came around too. That became the biggest go-to store for all this kind of stuff.
Remember when
And-
Hot Topic was like, it had like the fake bricks and shit.
Yeah, like Hot Topic used to not be a cultural store, which is weird. But now you go into Hot Topic, and I really want to say Twilight changed that.
It's a pop culture story.
You know, that's not a bad idea. I think that you might be right.
That's
Twilight was
an
08,
interesting
right?
hypothesis you got there, sir.
Yeah, like I'm serious. Like when I used to go to Hot Topic and stuff,
Well,
they
'cause it's
used to
the
not put
in-between of those two.
movies.
Make your thesis about that.
my master class in Hot Topics history.
No, that's what you submit for your trying to get your doctrine, and they're like,
Doctor didn't.
and the doctor,
Next
My God.
level stuff.
no, this is horrible, and then he takes it home and he starts. That has to be burned.
Even better if I'm getting a doctorate in psychology with like a minor in emotional therapy. But yeah, like
The effects of the Hot Topic change. No, I think you're right though, because when you think about Twilight was the perfect in between, where it was like a lot of people viewed the
South Park totally made fun of this too.
That's true too. But the whole vampiric thing, people already kind of associate it with Hot Topic, and Hot Topic leaned into it a little bit with what the stick they were going
Why
for.
wouldn't you?
And
Tons of
supporting
money.
metal. Yeah, of course. And then Twilight hits, and it's the perfect bridge between the two. Twilight gained massive success with people who didn't even like the normal culture of the emo stuff, and then they were just able to kind of slap them together. And you're probably right. That's what started bringing people who normally wouldn't go into Hot Topic into a Hot Topic.
Yeah.
And then that's what slowly changed them. Because I remember when Hot Topic first came around here in 06 through 08,
Yeah.
they were prime time. They had amazing band shirts
Right.
constantly. You could get full CDs and stuff there. And just every year that goes by, it's like they
I
don't
miss
really do
CDs.
vinyls the same way. They don't really do CDs, which that's fair on CDs, but they don't do vinyls at the same level. They their whole store used to be band shirts and stuff like that and band gear, and now it's half anime gear, half general pop culture
you know what
gear.
store you're also describing?
Spencer's.
GameStop.
Oh, GameStop as well. Yeah.
To a T.
Ironically, we can talk about your GameStop, the reason you hate them story
yeah,
too.
fuck
But
GameStop.
Ironically, that's exactly what I was about to say though, is that Hot Topic to survive might have had to have done that, even if I didn't. I don't know that for sure. But GameStop, if it wouldn't have been for them buying out ThinkGeek and doing that, they would definitely be in a worse position than they are now. Part of what makes their stores profitable is that they sell so much of the whatever you want to call it, statues and merchandise that has a huge overhead.
Yeah.
I mean,
makes sense. I mean, and that's, I'll make a shit for this, but Twilight aren't bad books. It's one of those weird things.
As a teenage,
It's a
they're
young adult
very
novel.
underwritten. Like they're not intelligently written.
But
they're not like as a teenager. It's not like I read them back.
Yeah.
I'd hate to be before they were cool. Like legit, when the second book came out, I went and got it like a couple days after it came out.
From what I've heard from a ton of people,
Third book
they're
is
perfectly good teen books.
Teen books.
Yeah,
They're a little cheesy. They got some, but they weren't near like. Looking back, it was probably more dramatically cheesy, but it's stuff like suburban white moms like to read them too. Like everyone I've ever talked to, like back when it was building, their moms have already read the book.
Yeah,
because a lot of moms read whatever they're.
Well, it's the same for like Hunger Games and stuff like
that.
Well,
Well,
too.
Sandra, what is it? Cassandra something. She
I don't know what that is. I don't guess.
What the fuck are the City of Bones, City of.
Oh,
yeah, that's a teenage book.
Yeah,
and those weren't bad books either. As
Artemis
a teenager,
Fowl.
It's like whenever you go, like I've tried to go back and reread those just for shits and giggles.
I
Like
hate to say
before I gave the books to Goodwill, I was
it's
like,
just they're too simple. Like that
Oh,
sounds really egregious.
Well, it's like we're trying to read Harry
pretentious.
Potter book as an adult.
Yeah, it's so simple. It's like
a book you were reading in 4th grade.
There's no hook as an adult for you.
I don't know that, and maybe that's just me because I don't like to read near as much as you guys. Whenever I was working at the hospital, so this has been 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago, rather. When I was working at the hospital and I bought my first Kindle, I loaded up all of the series of Unfortunate Event books and read them again, and I enjoyed them.
Well, that's for you for a nostalgia thing, though.
I mean, but nostalgia aside, I'd forgotten plenty about them, and going through reading them again, I was like, these are still fun to read, regardless.
Well, I wouldn't say that Twilight and Harry Potter and like Hunger Games aren't fun to read for me, but it's one of those things that's you get halfway through it and it's like there's no hook for me because I know the story.
Well, that's
it's very
fair.
plain.
If you've kept up with them enough, and then the other thing about that is
fun
Harry Potter had the movies, which while not perfect, are still rough estimates of the story.
movies.
So you're looking at it. I could see that.
Well, and I think they'd be more fun to listen to as an audiobook. I'm a big I love audiobooks. There's some books that it's a little bit harder, and some that are done way better. Like the Lord of the Rings audiobooks, it depends on which version.
Yeah, because
the Robert Inglis ones are pretty good.
Yeah.
But what I've actually
you
thought
mean
about
audiobooks?
Yeah.
What I've thought about, they have some that are dramatizations. And before you tell me about a dramatization of a book, I'd be like, that's some old people shit, whatever. I'm not going to, I'll just listen to the book.
Yeah.
I've actually gone through and like some of the Warhammer books, been listening to dramatizations where people like it's
full on voice acting.
That's what I was going to
voice
ask.
acting,
That's what I
sound
thought you
effects
meant.
and shit. And it's kind of like, huh. Before that was like, that's too much.
There's a guy on YouTube that does that with Star Wars comics. That's really interesting. Like he'll go page by page, but he'll voice it all and do sound effects and everything. It's
if
really
you have
cool.
a good voice actor on a audiobook, there's one for the book Name of the Wind. He is a fan. Like it makes it's way. I couldn't read those books now. Like they're fantastic. They're my
What
favorite.
is Name of the Wind? That sounds
Patrick
familiar.
Rothfuss.
I gotta look at that.
Yeah,
That
no,
sounds. I might have seen. I'm sure I've
listened
seen it
'cause
before.
I used to be a delivery driver. I've listened to that book. The whole audiobook's about the first one. I think is 14.
Yes, I have seen this book.
How
I've
many
never
hours
read
is
it.
the first
I
one?
remember it being crazy.
The second one's like over 30 hours. The first one I think is close to 20, maybe 22 hours.
Yeah.
And
The second one was the one-
I've listened to each one of them at least 5 times.
That's my big issue with audiobooks,
But
though.
he
is
does voices. It's very consistent.
That's I can typically read. Like I absolutely love the book series for. I can't think of what the name of the series is now. It's the Narnia series, but and it's,
Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, the
Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that, but it
You
starts.
don't remember the Chronicles of Narnia?
No. It starts out with a book called Magician's Nephew, which tells you the story about like these two young kids, and then the ending of it.
Mm-hmm.
They take this magical tree, they cut down and use the wood, and of course the wood is what they use to build the wardrobe.
Yep. I actually love the way those books are written because they're all disconnected in the grand scheme
But
of things.
they all fit into the same
Yes.
universe
So
perfectly.
I remember
So
when I
what-
first read that book, I thought it was cool.
15 hours for an audiobook.
Okay.
That is, I could read that book in 3 hours, maybe 4. And that's the problem I have with
Is
some
that the
audiobooks.
point, though?
But reading speed and listening speed are very different things.
But if I- yeah,
and
it
they,
is.
and they actually make them where it's you can't have an audiobook just blasting through as quick as
Yeah.
you read.
Yeah, and I mean that's the problem I have with some of them is that some of the books and stories I want to go back and revisit. I
And-
want to get into audiobooks, but I can't because I don't have that time.
Well, no, here's the thing: do it while you're doing something else. Like
I don't have a lot of free time doing something else like that though.
I'm
not like-
I'll listen to them while I'm, if I'm painting the Warhammer, just,
Yeah, that-
and you can listen. And the same thing with podcasts. Anytime you listen to podcasts, it's kind of the same thing.
Well, I get what he means, but I think what he's getting at there is, and he's a little different. He'll do it while gaming sometimes. I can't do it with something. I can't listen to a podcast while listening to something that's audio visual that I may need to hear something in occasionally. I
It depends
can't
on
do
the game.
that.
Yeah, like,
if,
I
if
watch-
you're
Now-
just playing a multiplayer online game or something. You know,
Fair. I don't do
Yeah.
that very often. Now, and when I played Crash Bandicoot, because the story didn't really matter, and when I was going back through, like when I was first playing the game, I loved the music in those games. So I played the whole game. And then when it was time to go back and do trophy cleanup, I listened to podcasts the whole time I was doing it because I didn't need to hear anything. But I primarily try and play new games because it's my primary form of entertainment. And it ends up being a problem where I can't even be in, like, some people will buy a new game and play it and be in a party chat. And I know, this is just, it was hard for me earlier. I was talking to RJ while I was playing Greedfall, and you can't pause when people are like dialogue on certain parts.
Yeah, I hate that.
And I hate that too, but it doesn't normally matter. But since I was in a party chat, because he invited me and I was trying to tell him, like, hey, I may be on Borderlands later and whatever, I was trying to listen to him, so I was missing certain things in the game. Then I try and listen to the game, and I was missing a little bit of the stuff he was saying. But I was able to piece them both together. But I was like, ugh, I hate this. And it's the same thing. I would hate to try and listen to an audiobook while I'm playing.
I feel like if I missed the delivery of a line and dialogue, that I skipped something.
Me too.
Like even if I piece it together, I'm like, oh, I missed out on that experience.
See, driving is the only thing I could do audiobooks and podcasts on.
Yeah, like-
or working at. I could do audiobooks at work
I've been having to drive a lot
where
more,
I'm doing like normal drawing up floors and stuff. But
and I've been having to drive a lot more for
find
work.
the link for that.
So that might be what is the way to go. But something I really hope that happens is that people in the Game of Thrones community are trying to convince, or not even trying to convince, but they're trying to rally for the voice actors or the actors at Game of Thrones to do the actors.
I severely underestimated how long. The first book is 27 hours and 55 minutes.
good lord,
But I was a delivery driver. And let's
yeah,
see.
that's like 3 days of your stuff.
See, if I was doing that job, I'd be listening to that stuff all day long.
I mean, that's what I did.
and even like with me, I'm driving more
the
for work,
second book
and I
is
do it a lot more now.
42 hours and 55 minutes.
Good.
Uh-oh.
And seeing that, the thing is that author, a lot of people giving him shit because it's kind of like with the Game of Thrones stuff. He's been getting shit because it's been a real long time since the last book. Real long time, I think maybe 5-6 years, something like that. Maybe a little
that's
longer.
pretty long though.
Yeah, but as he said it, which he's getting kind of defensive because I think he's just written himself into a corner because he's written 2 really well done books, and to come up with what you're supposed to finish it's a daunting task, and I think he's getting anxious about it. But
This idea of movies, the
but
third
a good
act's
point
always
he's
the
made.
hardest.
He goes, people give me shit, but he goes, my second book had more he said the amount of words in it. It goes, that's almost 1.5 of the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. He goes,
Wow.
he goes. He's
Well,
like,
and that's a good question. That's actually something I don't know because I guess it's not something I need to know. How far apart did the Lord of the Rings books come out?
well, that's a good question.
I've never
I wanna
even
say-
thought to think
I
about
want
it.
to say it was 4 years between the first and second, and then 7.5 between the third and the fourth.
The second and third.
Or
you mean?
second and third, yeah. There's
Yeah,
not
that's a
even-
long time. I mean, fuck. I
mean,
get
technically,
it.
if the Hobbit's there's a fourth.
What's the other dude? J.R.R. Martin or whatever?
I
what he's
want
talking
to
about.
say they all came out at the
Huh?
same time.
No, not Tolkien. I'm talking about Game of Thrones.
That's what he's
dude.
talking about. That's what he brought the.
But I
Well, no,
don't
he
think
was-
there was I think
he
they
was
all
talking
came out
about
at the
his
same time
article.
because I think Lord of the Rings was a book and they just divided up the volumes.
oh wait, what did you just ask?
He was talking about. See, that's what I didn't know. That's what I was asking. I couldn't remember if the Lord of the Rings were all one book.
I heard Game of Thrones. My bad.
But
When
what
you
he
said
was
that.
talking about, what he was talking about, the author he was talking about is the guy who's getting shit is the guy of the books he was talking about, the audio books he was talking about.
Yeah.
Not Game of Thrones at all.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
what
no,
I
I
was
know
saying,
that.
but he gets shit for
I know-
because he's
that's
going
what
to
he
die
brought-
before he
George R.
finishes.
R. Martin or
That's
whatever.
who he brought up, though,
How
that I was
long has
saying.
he been going?
That's what I just said.
How long has
That's-
it been between his books?
Yeah, that's what I was talking
It's
about.
been a
That's
while, and
3.5.
he's going to die before he finishes it.
Yeah, and that's when you said the fourth book. You threw me off, but yeah, it was 3.5. I want to say 7.5 between the second and the third, and then it's the 7.5 is what we're on now.
Good fucking Lord. Everybody
Pretty
makes
sure.
I don't know. I'm not going to say everybody makes fun of it deserves anything. You know how easy it is to make for a time to pass by that long?
A lot.
Which we're not acclaimed people at any standpoint. But the last song that Blaze and I and under the whole near conversion thing put out was 3 years ago. Doesn't feel like it. That's my general point. There is it's really easy for 3 years to pass
Lord
and
of the
not
Rings
feel
came
like
out
it.
July 29th, 1954.
Okay. Good Lord. And all three of them as a individual?
It was, yeah.
That they broke up?
Yeah, they broke them up just for... but actually, what I just read there was intended to be the first volume of a 2-volume series. You know, with the Silmarillion being the second part, but the publisher dismissed that idea.
So yeah, Game of Thrones came out in 96, A Clash of Kings came out in 98, Storm of Swords came out in 2000. So all those were 2 years apart. Between the third and the fourth was 5 years. Between
then
the
you got
fifth and the sixth, there was 6.5 years.
Good Lord.
Is what I was thinking.
Then you get people like Brandon Sanderson that just fucking... He's a fantasy author. Big, thick-ass books, you know, but really well-done books. I'm talking about just pops them out.
Like every 2 years?
Like every year.
And
that's
hold on.
That's like when great bands come out with a new album every year and they continuously...
But I'm talking about these are big-ass books, too.
But,
of course, it's been 7.5 years since that last book in now.
Good Lord. I know I've said that a lot about all this, but I don't know what else to say. I can't imagine. That'd be like... I mean this. That'd be like waiting 7.5 years for a sequel to a video game. It'd be very weird.
And there are different...
That's a long time.
And they're different series and sometimes one-offs, but yeah, like he has a book. I think the Way of Kings series is one that like they come out every few years. What?
Kingdom Hearts 3. Final Fantasy 15.
No, but
almost The Last of Us at this point.
Yeah, this dude's popping out
4.5
at least
years?
a book a year.
I said almost.
Some of these books are out in the same year in different series. But like those two are in the same series. 15,
What's the name of the
16,
author? Brendan what?
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson.
I mean, he pops out some books, dude.
See,
and they're all really in depth. They're good books.
See, that's the thing, though.
Like almost to a point where I'm like, yeah, this is too much for me.
I know Blaze knows what I'm talking about. When you have bands that have come out with album after album after album, and the first like 3 are good a year apart in a row, that's amazing. That's so rare. And weird.
He did the Mistborn trilogy.
Yeah. He does. You'd recognize a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he spits out some books.
Well, I don't know if this is a trilogy, but it's the Mistborn stories that I've heard really good things about. And I think he's supposed to be coming out with a new book in that series soon. Or maybe what I do with books is I typically go to like the books Reddit, and then I go to the general thread of whatever, and then I just sort by the highest. So I could be looking at a comment from like 4 years ago. I don't know.
Are any of you guys, because y'all continue to read way more than I did in my later life, have any of y'all in the last even like 5 years gone to like a Books A Million, just sat and read a book? Or even read part of it?
I've never done that, no.
I was curious. There was somebody on Facebook last night that was talking about their son, and I kind of understood what they were saying. Their son was wanting to buy a book, and he said, well, I can't. He said, can we go to Books A Million? He said, well, I can't buy a book right now. And he said, I just want to read it there. I just want to read it there, is what he said.
It used to be that was generally frowned upon staff. Like, staff will come over to you.
Well, not read the whole book, read part of it.
Yeah.
You know, and
even then, though, I think if it's like past like 20 or 30 minutes, there's an unwritten law there that they'll come and talk to you.
That's fair, yeah.
Because I've seen it happen
unless
when
it's
I played
old people. I've seen old people sit there all day and...
I don't know, though, because they might have brought their stuff in.
Well, they sit in those side sections over there.
Well, that might be true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
because
I've
like
sat there. Today when we went to Barnes & Noble, it was funny because we were finding Krista. Krista went with us.
Oh,
found her. She's over by the magazine, all excited, showing Jess this National Geographic. National Geographic. And Jess and her were being kind of loud, and these old people that sitting at the thing reading magazines kind of looked up like that. And I wanted so bad to be like, oh yes, let me interrupt you freeloading those fucking magazines.
Yeah. I probably would have said something under my breath, but loud enough that they didn't hear me. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was a bookstore, not a library.
Yeah, like.
Well, see, that's what I think is odd is that very few people use libraries anymore. I think that
Which
in
they
a lot
should
of
be
people's
using
minds,
a lot more of.
I think in a lot of people's minds that bookstores took over the place of a library, and that's why a lot of people go there and just read.
That might be why
I still know people that do it.
Yeah, because when I used to play Magic over there, like we would always go get like a drink or something at Joe Muggs. They actually have really good brownies, like the Oreo brownies they have there are really good. And then we'd sit there and play Magic for a couple hours. And every now and then you'd see a staff worker come over there and say, hey, we have to ask you to either buy that book or to put it back and grab another. And then they'll do it. One person, though, an older black guy, got real mad. I guess he was just really into that book.
I mean, you interrupted me in the middle of the Battle of Galenor, you fucking bitch.
But, yeah, it's one of those things that's, you don't really think about it as like stealing, but it's not really stealing because you don't own the property. Like, you're not buying the property, but you're taking
stealing
the information.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's a weird one.
It's like people who want to return books. How do you stop that? Like,
Yeah.
I've returned books. It's like not from after reading the whole thing. Like there's some that I get like 2 chapters in. I'm like, nah. And I'll take them back.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
And that leads into what I was talking about. Is
You can do that on
I
Kindle
think it's
too.
perfectly
You can do
fine.
that on Audible.
Well, it probably I could see
Like
that
if
too.
if you're not a certain amount of hours into it, they'll let
Is it,
you know.
is it Audible owned by Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They let you.
You get
but
like
even then,
free
when you
stuff,
go through that, the Kindle is the same thing where it's like I'm sure they do it off of page numbers in relation to the book. I'm sure it's probably
I'm
a percentage.
not sure, but you can return
or
stuff
maybe even
from your
chapter based.
library.
Yeah, but that's the idea. That's why I was getting in and asking if y'all did, because I don't know how y'all do y'all's reading, and I know Saul, a lot of your reading in recent years seems like it's been a little bit more towards like mangas and stuff.
Well, I don't get
I don't
to
know. I
read
could be wrong on that.
hardly.
I mean, no, it's about half and
I
half.
listen. Like I really don't get to read.
Yeah.
I might now. Like I said, because it's hard to read when you got kids around. But now that I've switched schedule up and actually get a couple hours to myself,
Yeah.
I might.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I could get why you would go into a bookstore and sit down and read it for a little bit, just to see if you like a book. Because I would feel weird buying a book and returning it just because I didn't like it. Not because I think it was wrong. I don't think I should keep a book if I don't like it. But it's just like I almost think I'd rather sit down and at least read the first chapter and be like, does the first chapter even interest me at all?
That's what I like about Google Play books. You could download the book for free, and then you have like the first 15 or 35
and then
or
it's
pages.
just pay if you want to keep listening.
Or no, keep reading. It's something about the reading. The Google Books app.
Oh, I didn't know there was a Google Books app.
Yeah, you can download it. Download on your phone if it's not already downloaded, and just sit there and go. I actually have a lot of books online.
And I don't buy physical books hardly anymore. We have Kindles, the paper white Kindles, where it still looks like paper with a slightly.
I like mine when I had it.
Playbooks, my bad. But
I don't see how people read on tablets and junk all day. But like,
oh no, too much. Yeah,
because I used to have the Nook when they had the Sure. When I look, this one's a little bit better because it has a backlit, but it's not at the same time.
Dude, electronic ink is kind of fucking dope.
Because
realistically, it's a weird idea.
But you can get,
it's cool.
You get some books so much cheaper, and the thing is, then you don't have the clutter. Because realistically, whenever you get a book and you read it, how long is it till you come back to that book? And if you do, a lot of people will buy books for the same way, this cover looks cool because they want to put them out and display them, which is cool. But to me, a lot of times it's like people who display books prominently are trying to say when people come over, like, look, I'm an intellectual. I'll read.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to me, that's not the point of books. And so having them digital, it's because it's like, I mean,
do you think it's that, or I mean, I can definitely see it that, but I think it's across the board, right? I think it's just it could be that you're trying to be a pseudo intellectual, or it could be more that you're trying to be pseudo of something, of some type of person, some stereotype of a person that you think is more known for like certain types of things. Essentially, you could be like a hipster. But I read books because it's classic.
I mean, think about it. A lot of people have.
You could be people who buy games.
That was my issue with pop figures.
Yeah,
because pop figures is the standpoint of, hey, people. I get it. Some people get personal enjoyment out of that. I'm not trying to take away anything from that, but a big part of it was I'm going to display this when people come over. And it's to me, it's you want to show people what you're into because these things somehow make up your personality.
Well, I think that's true to an
like,
extent, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I think that there are people that I think there are people that get so lost in the idea of pops that they buy things they don't even actually like. That's the thing I find that's odd. Or they don't know enough about it. They don't like it or dislike it. But like people like Back to the Future. I've never even seen Back to the Future, but I know it's a cultural thing, so I'm going to buy these because people look at it, and that's a weird thing. Is like people who
they may think they're worth money soon or something.
Well, that happens, and you have the people who think for some reason that they don't want to admit they've not seen certain culturally impactful movies, and I mean, I get it to an extent, but at the same time, the reason I say that is, of course, I have a slew of gaming shit here, not because I care if anybody else sees it. This is for me, but I mean. Fair enough. I mean, if you notice, I don't have any pop figures in my living room.
It's a line though, because it's kind of like when people use things they like as if it's part of their to show people that they like it, as if this says something about their personality.
But doesn't it? To some reason, like to some extent, doesn't the things that you like have some reflection on your personality?
I think you said it best a second ago. Is that the person buying that may not be interested or never seen it? They're just buying it for a different reason.
Well, yeah.
So you can misjudge them.
But I think that there's also.
I mean, I'm not. It's just a thought exercise.
My whole thing is that like I'm not gonna meet somebody and be at their house on the same day. Roughly.
Well, because it's like certain tattoos I've thought about before. I'm like, are they getting that for them or to show people that they like that?
See, and that's a fair argument.
Yeah, and
Okay, it's
'Cause
like it's like people who wear the Metallica shirts and have never heard and actually listened to a Metallica song or more than one. Like
or like the new Thrasher shirts that are going around.
Well,
it's like
Nirvana shirts. How they've become a fashion symbol more than
Yeah.
they've become like, oh well, you're not supporting with it. I wear band shirts not because I want other people to see that I like that band more so than I like that band, and I want other people to see the band so that on the off chance that they see it and go, who is Hotel Books, and then they go listen to it and go, hey, I like that. That's kind of my idea, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like if I wear a video game shirt or this, I don't wear this and ever goes to show people like, look at my bracelet. Even if people are talking about Pokemon, I don't do the whole like, oh look, you know.
Yeah.
But I have tons of people, and I forget I even have it on. Sometimes it's for me. I look at it every now and then and enjoy it, and then sometimes I'll forget I even have it on. I was in McAllister's the other day. One of the managers was like, "What's on your bracelet?" And I was like, "Oh, Squirtle, War Turtle," and he's like, "Oh, that's cool." And I never even knew he liked Pokemon. It was kind of cool. And then I thought the same thing in my head. I was like, is this one of those guys who only knows these because of Pokemon Go? And then he ended up going in this big spiel of things where it's like, oh, he's played all Pokemon games.
Well, and it doesn't matter. He just said, "Oh, cool bracelet."
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, for sure.
He's like, "Well, do you?" You know, he.
But
didn't,
that little fledgling thought in your mind of, does he really like it, or is it just like, or does he like it, but it's based off of something as simple as Pokemon Go?
And I guess to lead into that is Pokemon is by no means hipsterish or niche like some people want to act like. Oh, well, it's
Not
rare
at
that
all.
people like Pokemon. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get those people that, oh, well, I like Harry Potter a lot, and you know, I need to have this decal on the back of my car. And let other people know they don't know what that's from. That's from me. When you know, it's one of the biggest things in pop culture.
Isn't that like
Yeah.
isn't that essentially
It's
like
weird that when you start mixing nerd culture and pop culture, there was a line that got blurred where people still think certain things are like comic books, you know, like superheroes used to be nerdy as shit.
Mhm.
Now people still think they're nerdy as shit. So I'm nerdy.
yeah,
As
Yeah,
if it's
the-
a personality
the stigma never
quirk. As if it's a
changed.
personality quirk
Yeah.
versus something that you like.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the difference. If you're using it as I'm a gamer.
One,
You know, like I
okay.
play video games hardcore, Brett.
So here's the weird thing about that.
Do you play video games?
No, we had the conversation on Triangle Square earlier about how some people try and I hate using the word gatekeeping, but how certain people be like, you're not a core gamer. It's like, who are you to determine if somebody's a hardcore gamer or not? Just because all they play is known games. Did they play a shitload of them? I did. It turned me on.
But well, it's like the people that try to bash people that like Call of Duty. If you like Call of Duty, fucking awesome. You know, if that's the only thing you play because say that just fits into your lifestyle, being able to just pick up, play for 30 minutes and be done, why should that be any different than someone that plays fucking Skyrim for 50 hours, you know?
Yeah, not fair. But here's the thing. I think all
Skyrim,
people...
such a casual game.
There's
Well,
that.
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
but that goes into everything, and that goes into things like Pokemon, like all pop culture, be it video game, because Call of Duty is pop culture in video games. I mean,
Yeah.
Call of Duty is pop culture. Actually,
it's
remove
shooting
it from
shit.
video games. It's bigger than video games. People who don't play video games know what Call of Duty
but
is.
see, that's another thing.
Um,
Video games aren't. That's another line. It's something that used to be nerdy. Now it's pop culture. Most people play video games.
Yeah, and now that gets to be the weird thing. Now there's
Under
two
the
layers
age
of
of-
that, right? You have the people who are just playing on phones and they're playing games, but then they act like they're not gamers and be like, "Oh, you play Xbox? You fucking nerd!" And then they go and play Candy Crush on their phone. Those people exist. I think that they're way lesser than they ever used to be. But then you have the people who call themselves gamers because they play Candy Crush on the phone, and I'm not the person. Like, then you have the main gamers who are like, they're not fucking gamers because they're just playing Candy Crush on the phone. Well, no, they're gamers. They're just at a different stage than you, and maybe they'll never get out of that stage, or maybe they'll be in that stage for a little bit, and then they'll try a puzzle game on a console, and then they'll think, well, I kind of like this puzzle game. I wonder what this RPG is, and then play that RPG, and then you go down. Perfect example, Mario from work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the game that got him into gaming was I let him borrow Shadow of Mordor. And he never played anything but sports games prior to that, and he just like lost his shit. He's like, "This is amazing," and then he brought it back. And then after that, he
played
very
The Witcher.
quickly played The Witcher 3 multiple times.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15, which
And that's
you
the
can say
thing,
what you want to about it, but
if you
he-
take,
I'll say something
if you
about
take
it.
your typical nerdy guy who's tries to quote gatekeep,
Yeah.
and be like, look at Mario, a very muscular black guy that dresses in polos, and you know, and you'd be like, oh,
I thought
he doesn't
Mario was
game.
Hispanic.
no,
Mario. Yeah,
his
he's
name is Demario.
He is Demario.
Mario Demery, but
I thought I met him in person.
No,
no, you didn't.
but yeah, you get what I'm saying. So like a normal the people you run into about trying to gatekeep would look at him and be like, oh, there's no way he plays more video games than I probably play. You know.
He hadn't
Well,
recently,
I
but yeah,
do-
he's getting back into it. He didn't have a PlayStation for a bit, but he just bought another one.
I do think that some of the gatekeeping though that comes from back when we were growing up, that if you were playing video games, you were seen as a nerd and nobody wanted to do anything with you and
Some of the
all that
yeah.
stuff. And then now they're mad because now that they're back in there, it's almost like a popular thing now. Like you could say, I play
is.
video games. Back then,
Fortnite and Minecraft are bigger than any other thing that you like.
and back then, if you said if you were hanging out with people and there were people there you didn't know and you were like, I play video games, you were a little more self-conscious back then versus now. Whereas,
1,200,000 people were watching World of Warcraft Classic on Twitch.
Yeah.
Good
That was
Lord.
just went on the
A
really
13-year-old kid won, I think, $5 million or $500 million or
In
$50 million
Fortnite?
in a Fortnite competition.
Yeah.
Minecraft's a big thing again. It's crazy.
I love it.
I
PewDiePie.
do. I mean,
PewDiePie brought it back around. Now, it's always been popular, but it's popular in the media.
I think it'll
again.
stay popular because of the way the game is. But
I'm
that's
so
a different
glad because
discussion.
that was such that was such a cool thing to go back to and see how different it is now.
Oh, and the thing
It's
is, you're
overwhelming.
mixing a game with artistic.
Yeah.
To be able to do something, literally whatever you want.
Yeah.
That type of game will never go away.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Dwarf
either.
Fortress is still being played by thousands and thousands of people, and that game is ridiculous.
Perfect example is all those types of games. Every type of game that kind of spawned from Minecraft's popularity again, Terraria is still have tons of players. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's no Minecraft.
If you go to the
but
subreddit for
it's-
Terraria, there's everybody there.
It's crazy, yeah, and it just got a huge update again, and that game's old. I mean, that game.
You still can't technically beat it on PS4, can you?
What do you mean?
Moonlord and everything.
Yeah,
Okay, they added that.
they
in.
added the final update to every version of the game.
Okay.
They said this is the
I couldn't
final
remember if we had
big
that
update.
happen or not.
But that's the big cool, and I think that's because they want to do another Terraria because there are limitations with the way that they made that game that I think Minecraft was a little different. Minecraft being immediately 3D gives it some benefits.
My Minecraft's had various versions.
Well, you can
too
do
that
whatever.
changed.
There's people that rebuild real cities in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
sure.
I mean, it's kind of like with World of Warcraft. You can do. That's what keeps that game going for so long. Is because you can do whatever the fuck you want. Really, there's people
Yeah.
that go through and just collect all the flowers and weird shit and pets. There's people that hardcore raid. There's people that like to just go and kill other people.
Well, see, then the difference of games, like I've never had the thing where I think I don't know about Saul, but I know some of them, like they want every good weapon in Destiny. I don't care. I'm like, do I have the good weapons that work for me?
My issue,
and I don't care past
that's
that.
my issue with that in both Warcraft and is I like to clear the content, but trying to grind for loot that's going to be irrelevant in a year and a half to 2 years is
Hard. But I want to go back to something real quick because what Saul was saying, I think, and it ties into something else as well that's interesting to me. Saul's right. You have those people who are assholes to you growing up. You're like, this fucking nerd. He plays video games, probably cries at home to his mom and is on his Nintendo all night. Anyway, as gaming kept going, I think
there was a tweet recently that kind of amassed to that.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if did you see that tweet?
No, I didn't.
Anyway, we'll show you that afterwards.
But either way,
pretty much alpha male bullshit. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
I did. You saw that tweet. It was posted on our Discord. It was the guy who was saying like, if you spend any amount of time playing video games, you're a weak person and like you're not doing anything.
You're not as a male. You should be constantly improving your body, and you're.
Yeah. I didn't
weak,
see that.
You're,
Oh, you
you're
didn't?
Skinny,
No,
fat, and
but
shit.
I think
Yeah.
Liam put it in the Discord. Maybe it was
Yeah,
Sean.
I saw that before.
oh, okay. Well, either way, my point to that is,
That's what that has to be. A
hold on.
No, it's
So
not.
was that a stream of tweets? Because I did
And then
the
this
other
big
day.
dude, this big dude, tweeted him back with a picture and be like, "You weak chin motherfucker." Like,
Well, okay, that
the
might be
dude
the
had a-
one. Is this the one where it's a guy in a gym who's like
no,
doing
it's,
his
just,
arms
it's
like
a
that?
long-haired guy. It almost looks like that D&D voice actor, but
Matt
like
Mercer?
it looks like Matt Mercer, but like
Well, there's another one that happened. You know the guy from How I Met Your Mother? His name's like Jason. Oh God, I can't think of his name right now. It's the guy who plays the lawyer that Marshall goes against in How I Met Your
Yeah.
Mother. The one who's ripped and buff and keeps leaning over for the jury and stuff. Okay, Joe Manganiello or something like that. Some guy posted a picture. This is the only thing I have seen. Is a guy in the gym that was like, "I don't play games" or whatever, and he's like buff posing, and then that actor
He said, "I don't
posted-
play D&D."
All
That's
right.
what it was, I think.
I don't know what it was.
oh, that was
But that's
no,
a fake
it's a
thing.
wrestler. He's
Yeah.
a wrestler, and the guy he's going to be wrestling against likes D&D.
Regardless.
And he's playing a douchebag character.
Yeah.
As a wrestler.
That is what it was.
That's what I love.
D&D.
Like the thing,
Yeah.
I never used to get wrestling until a little bit later, like recently, because I'm like, yeah. I mean, could you imagine getting to act like a dick?
Good Lord, what is this?
Oh, dude, it's not just that one tweet. It goes
and
down.
there's people
Okay,
that-
I'm not going to read this right now. We can save this for a little bit. But my point being
Well, I have
toward
to
that
tinkle.
idea, good Lord. I got to stop saying good Lord. I've said that. That's like my catchphrase for this episode. I've never said it this often. But we'll continue on without Blaze. Bad Lord. My point for that was that you're right to an extent. You have that layer of people who are sitting there around and they're constantly shitting on somebody for liking it. Then as you were just waiting for him to go away so you could drink that water. I hope he goes back and watches
actually
it.
really good.
All right. Blackberry pomegranate.
It's really good for like seltzer water.
That's all right. But yeah, you have somebody who's doing that stuff, and you get around.
Has
to
a NyQuil aftertaste. I spoke too soon.
But I do the same. I get it, or at least I understand why people would have the tendency. Now that gaming's cool, or whatever, or comic books are cool, now you want to be like. Some of the gatekeeping comes from like, hey, you don't get to come in and suddenly like all the things that I like that you were making fun of me.
Yeah,
for. We talked about with Blaze and his liking of skinny jeans, and then the moment that you're a jerk comes
pisses
out,
you off because it's like I was attacked. Quote unquote,
it does feel like
this crap when I was
bullshit.
young, and now it's like this is the popular thing, and yet that was the fastest pee I've ever seen.
Right.
Good.
Lift up on the door handle. I got to fix that door. It didn't actually shut.
Be sure you lock it too.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, was Hannah in there? Okay. Hannah just ever came home?
No, I texted her.
Oh, okay.
But no, we were talking about how just like you were talking about with the skinny jeans and how you liked them, and then suddenly it became cool.
Yeah,
so
I used to get that, like,
you
people
have
threatening
that
to beat me and
you have
shit.
that gatekeeping mindset mentality where you're kind of like. You're pissed. You're like, wait a minute.
The fact that I went through
couldn't I
childhood
like this
trauma,
thing?
people threatening to whoop my ass because I wore skinny jeans.
Yeah, and then 2 years later, it's the cool thing to do,
Yeah.
and it's like you assholes. But that's exactly what happens with gaming. Is I think that's why some people are like, you're not a hardcore gamer. You can't just come in and play sports games and then suddenly act like you're the same kind of person as I am when
It
you used to
doesn't-
beat me
Yeah,
up.
that's where the resentment
anything that
comes from.
moves the medium forward, I think, is a good.
It's
thing.
a good thing.
It's like some people getting pissed about D&D starting to be in pop culture. I'm like, fucking good,
Saul
man.
said that yesterday.
No.
I'm like,
Okay, he didn't
Well,
say exactly that.
I can
I
get
didn't
it.
even
And
say
don't get me
nothing
wrong.
near that.
I can understand
I will
that.
say
But
exactly
the thing
what it
is,
was.
great. I would love more kids play D&D,
I
especially
said-
in an age where there's so much digital media. It's a disconnect.
I
It's real
said-
good for them to have.
I said, because we were at Target yesterday,
butthurt, yeah.
and there was a Stranger Things version of D&D. And
Which I thought was actually kind of a
I
cool
did.
idea.
I do too. I like Stranger Things, and I thought that was really cool. I'm actually the one that pointed it out, saying, "Hey, that's pretty cool."
Mm-hmm.
I said, but what I don't like about it is that it's showing people that creature there is what is a Demogorgon when it's not a Demogorgon in the game. And then he was explaining to me why. I'm like, I get why, but I'm saying like I still think that like
They
they
just call-
shouldn't package that thing and,
Well,
and call it a Demogorgon.
Well, they just called it the Demogorgon because
they're kids, and then they're making things up because they see a scary creature, and
Yeah.
that's what I get it. But
yeah,
I'm just saying,
I walked through all that yesterday.
I think
but-
it's stupid because they're taking something.
does it matter? It's an
If it's
imaginary
in-
fucking monster.
That's
but-
about the other thing. The Demogorgon
I mean-
actually doesn't have a real look if you really think
Yeah,
about it. If you look at it in
and
different
there's
art
been
books, it's going to look different.
There's been a couple different versions of the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they brought that up in the.
They did. They did bring that up. But still, it's one of those things, though. It's just like, it's going to cause confusion if they go play in D&D with somebody, and that's what they think it looks
Nah,
like.
the
And they
monsters
pull
can be
out
whatever
a
the fuck
monster.
you
But
want them to be.
honestly, if you're playing D&D with somebody, you don't even have to ever see a visual representation of a monster anyway. If you're playing D&D and having a good time with it and doing it right, anything can represent anything. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You can say this is
that's
a goblin
true.
and it'll just look like a fucking human. But like, it's a goblin though. Don't worry.
That's true, but it kind of reminds me of like this, that when movie games come out and stuff.
It's ironic that we're talking about D&D 2 episodes in a row. But it works
Well,
out.
it'll start progressing though. It's kind of like goblins and stuff. What you imagine a goblin now, what an orc was now and is two completely different. You know,
Very different.
Yeah.
things,
especially fairies. Fairies have gone through like 100 different. You know, it's real interesting when you start thinking about, especially dwarves. Dwarves have gone through. You know, like even when the Hobbit came out, the idea of a dwarf, they still kind of thought that bullshit Snow White. You know,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
when you think of a dwarf, you think of some short.
Like they're still short, but they're stout
Yeah, they're
and
stout.
muscular.
Because they come from the earth. And
What is the size of a hobbit compared to a dwarf?
about
I'll say
8
height,
inches,
right?
about 6 to 8 inches.
I can't
That's
tell if
like
he's
a
being-
dick
No, that's not a dick.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
was
a-
just like, he
that's
said
not
with
a-
such a straight face.
That's
I'm like,
not a dick joke. That's
I can't tell he's being
I'll
serious.
show you the, and it's a little bit different in D&D. If you couldn't call them halflings, or they actually did. They couldn't call them hobbits. They changed it to halfling. 'Cause
Right.
halfling can be anyway. In halfling in D&D, they've got an actual measurement. It's a little different.
Okay. And that's pretty accurate.
That's pretty.
to
Yeah,
a hobbit is.
that's kind of what I go off of.
That makes sense. I
Because
mean,
they never clarified in Tolkien.
So look, going back a little bit, the other side of the thing about the people who gatekeep and get mad, and how it's understandable in that sense, and how even right now we're saying, oh, it's getting popular and people are doing these things. You're talking about comic books, right? And you're saying now people are reading comic books and be like, oh, I read comic books, I'm a nerd. Well, I think it's two things, right? It is a mixture of the fact that they are doing this and thinking of nerdiness as a positive character trait.
Well,
but on top of that, it's hard to not also give them the benefit of the doubt that they really do like the comics. It's just that they still have it tied to, like Saul talked about, they still have it tied to the nerdiness. And like you even said, it's just that
they're trying to
they
inflect
never
like that
they
says
never
something
remove
about
the
them.
stigma. So now instead of it being a stigma that's towards the thing, they just keep the same
Like it's
name
an
and act
endearing,
like
like it's an endearing trait now instead of being or people do it because they think it makes them different. Just kind of like you had those teenagers, the weird kids that kind of acted more weird than they already were because that was their thing.
Yeah,
that was
lean into it because
yeah,
if I don't
that's
act
their
even more weird,
it makes me stand out. People just that's just a mental disorder.
I didn't say that.
I did.
I'll fucking say it.
I'll die on that one.
Oh man.
Man,
I mean, do you, boo boo.
Yeah, I don't care. They
do
do
whatever
it,
you want.
What did I see? I saw something on Reddit the other day that it was involving furries, and yeah, it was
that
dude.
one video I was watching where the dude and the other dude.
A guy put his hands in dry ice for like 2 hours so that he could get his hands cut off surgically.
It's funny
to get paws.
What the fuck?
Anyway,
Dead serious.
Nope.
That sounds like that sounds like internet hoaxing.
It's kind of weird though. We were talking about furries on the way to Shreveport today, and
furries are a hot topic right now.
Well, no, because we were talking.
Hot topic.
I was talking about that story where the airport had a bunch of them. Because Jess and Chris were talking about something. And like, where did that come from? I was like, that totally came from My Little Pony and our shows having sexualized cartoon characters.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And I said, what I dislike about it most is that it puts a stigma on cosplayers. People who actually, it's a very artistic fucking craft, and to the people that don't know any better, it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. Because
and I said that's what I dislike most about it. That's why furries bug me, because it's putting and don't get me wrong, there is an art to making those suits and shit. Mm-hmm. But when you're
but some people just buy them too.
Yeah, but
I feel that way about cosplaying. If all you're doing
some
is
of those
buying
people
stuff,
lean into that shit because they know it bugs people. Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the bigger thing. I would personally, but I guess I can't speak on the behalf of the people that do it. At HypeCon here, the person who was walking around in the cool wolf outfit,
he uses that for everything. He's had it for 6 years.
I would not consider that to be a furry.
No, he's cosplaying because for the thing is it's his character. Yeah, I get it. He has a wolf character, and on the Renaissance fairs, he dresses him up different.
Yeah, see,
it's his.
But I
can get that.
But there's I do understand that line is so easily between the two of it. The thing is, if he wanted to consider himself a furry, I can't really say he can't. It's up to him. It doesn't really matter.
Again, I would not judge that guy in the least bit. I know I would sit there and it was like, there's a mental disorder, but people like what they like. To me, that's a line where I'm like, no, that is weird to me.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is a normal.
Here's the thing about furries.
Weird.
Furries, from the farthest end of furries, they're doing the weird stuff like wanting to shit in litter boxes, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here? And that's, to me, that's where I'm going to draw the line of it's a mental illness. If you're wanting to go so far that you're willing to do that, it's like I don't even want to say mental illness. That's not fair. They have something wrong with them, because the problem with mental illness, we talked about this on Triangle Squared when we were doing it, is that word being so encompassing, it has the same effect of making it to where if somebody has like a bipolarness, if they have bipolar disorder, and that's a mental illness, they're going to get looped in with the same fucking people who want to shit in a litter box. They're not the same people. And that's
a very broad.
That's what I mean.
You're trying to.
Well, but that's what I mean. But that's what people who don't know enough about mental illness immediately think of when you think of mental illness, is that anything that goes into that falls under this big umbrella, and they're all just different cuts of the same cloth. And I don't think that that's necessarily fair. All I'll say is that, once again, something odd.
I could be a little unfair in that because of how weird I find it. Once again, it's because the negative impact it has on cosplayers. The same could be said about how people viewed LARPers 15 years ago. Well, that's a mental disorder, and you live in the real world.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But then again, there's a disconnect, and that's what's always so weird about this. Is I don't know enough about furries, but like LARPing is not people who actually think they live in that world. I just thought of Pirate Steve from Dodgeball. Like the guy, because he stays one outside of. Yeah. But that's not people who, now that one, it's a movie, of course, but people who really LARP or people who cosplay all these things, these are not people who think that they're those characters at all times. They understand entirely that they are role-playing into that situation, and that is not their actual reality. That's their momentary escape.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a normal form of escapism that everyone has. Just
Then
like
you have
fantasy football's
people-
escapism.
Then you have
back.
people that want
Video
to
games.
be like Saul's talking about. If this story is true, of trying to get their hands to be able to be cut off so they can replace them with a paw. I'm not saying that that's true. I don't even want
That
to
is
act
a
like it
mental
is.
disorder,
That
though.
sounds like
That
that.
is
So
that's
here's what
110%.
happened, and here's like the whole Twitter thing of it
God, I
happening.
don't want to read a story.
Is
oh
no, it's
my
like
God.
it's like his tweets. It's like apparently what happened was that he has arthritis in his hands, and he uses dry ice to help his hands out with pain.
Oh yeah.
And pain management.
Yeah.
But he took painkillers and then fell asleep with them in the dry ice. And then they said that's what his story is. But people are saying that on Twitter, like 3 weeks prior to this, that
He was trying to get paws.
He was talking to somebody who's famous on Twitter about prosthetic paws. And then a week after this incident happened, he posted a picture of himself with his paws on the ground, like part of his costume, like he had cut the paws off of.
I
of
can
it or
I can
whatever.
see the A to B to C there.
And
Yeah.
You have no idea if he really did or not. But
And but that's pretty much what everybody seems to be going with. But
See, okay, that one, and see, I knew that if it was just the simplified version that you gave, that's impossible. That's not impossible, I should say, but that's a very extreme situation.
where did it just go?
But
I
either
just had
way,
a picture of the of him. Here it is.
that's
Him standing like with his paws on the ground. It's like you just lost both your hands, dude. Why are you posting a picture like
that's
that?
kind of funny though.
A week later,
that is a little funny. I'd do it, dude.
you just lost both your
Hold
hands.
on, doesn't that help? Doesn't humor kind of help you deal with stuff like that?
You just lost both your hands, though. I'm not gonna be humorous for a little bit more than a week
Well,
after.
and it's
that.
your
Some-
thing. Like,
some
don't get me wrong.
people
I wouldn't want
handle
somebody
stuff like that
This,
well.
this is a very different thing. This is a self-loss thing. He lost his own hands, but that's all comes down to him. Him posting that picture, I think, is him taking control of his own situation and be like, I can poke fun at myself to try and make myself feel better about it, while also putting kind of a
I mean,
positive
I
face
can
on it.
see that, but me specifically,
Whole-
if I
dude,
lost both hands,
Whole different world though. If like your daughter gets murdered and then a week later you have a fucking fake picture of a dead girl on the ground,
Yeah,
in front
that's
of
a
it,
little
that'd be
different
fucking
levels.
crazy.
What is that
Because it's
from?
not your loss. I mean, it is your loss, but it's also your daughter's personal loss. That's not from anything. It's
You went
just
extreme on that.
It's just an extreme example of something to where it wouldn't.
Oh, there's
work
people
the
like
same
on
way.
some of these Facebook pages that I'm on that they lose like people amputees and stuff, and some of them are funny as shit about it.
I know a couple
I mean,
people have
I'm
had
sure,
amputees.
I'm
Because,
sure
I mean,
They're
you
cool.
gotta-
if something like that happened to me, I would definitely be like that later on. But I
Don't get me wrong, I would be devastated if I lost one of my hands, but like it's kind of
you
like a
gotta
dude at
think
work, Catfish. You know?
Oh, yeah,
he
dude.
was being funny about it. He has this,
Yeah, he
and
lost.
like,
yeah.
and he was making jokes about it. Like, I can't pick my nose anymore.
Guy Ledwell, where we work. I guess I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever. Anyway, guy where
Guy
we
at-
work had put he was doing
It
some,
it's the shear. It bends metal parts, and then there's a shear that cuts them into shape. It cuts them into shape, then he bend them. His fingers got in the shear.
It cut off all of his fingers.
Most of them.
Okay,
Most
I
of
couldn't
them.
tell what you're doing. If it,
I think it was
like
the tip of
yeah,
one.
like essentially he's missing like the good fingers, parts of these shitty fingers, and he's got this.
Yeah. It was like he got half of
It
this,
went-
half of this.
it's a line.
That right there, and that's a tip. Like
And the
the
thing
tip of
is,
that
there
one.
wasn't really saving them because it's shears aren't really just that they're sharp; it's the amount of pressure they're pushing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't sliced; it was crushed off,
Yes. Yes.
which sucks even worse.
So-
but he was being pretty, dude, sweet dude,
And he's
Like,
super nice. I love
And he
Catfish.
looks like just some old redneck guy, and that's the thing. You can't really judge him. He was being super.
got multiple daughters.
He was
I
being
mean, he's-
real positive about it.
Well, I mean, he's a
telling me,
family guy. He's got stuff
like,
to
I keep
lose.
thinking, he's like, I'll go to use the remote, and I feel my finger, but my finger's not there.
well, no, I get the humor that far after. It's like
No,
it's-
this was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is pretty close
Like,
after.
still bloody bandages
I
sitting
don't
up
know.
front
If I
trying
lost
to use the
both
computer.
hands, which takes away pretty much
Oh,
any
yeah, no,
hobby
get me
that I
wrong.
love and I will ever love, like or any future hobby that I would ever love,
Yeah.
I would not be posting a joke on Twitter a week later.
Maybe not a week, but
I mean, everybody's their own thing.
it depends on what you're interested in. Like my hand, I would be really upset because most things I like involve my hand. My
Isn't
hand,
most things, most
But
humans
if I
like,
lost my leg, I'd be like, man, hopefully they can give me a fucking robot one.
Yeah,
Go ahead and cut the other one off
now
so I can be taller.
That's when I would be
Get the-
like, I would be fine with posting a picture a week later if it was my leg, my hand, or my leg, or like my foot.
Yeah, you can still do a lot missing an arm too. It's just all about your attitude. There's some guitars like my thing goes like guitar, painting, and it's like there's guitarists that fucking are missing.
Like to play
hand-
guitar with a baked potato.
dude, have you seen that fucking dude who plays guitar with his feet because he has no arms?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
there's people,
yeah,
if you
it
want
was
to do
a-
something, you
And
can
it's
do it.
It's
amazing.
an old video, isn't it?
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are old. But dude, I mean, amazing. He was doing some pretty complex songs with his feet, and I was like, "This is some shit."
My feet cramp up too much. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
my-
probably because you don't use them like
mine
that. If
do
you were
too.
doing them like that all the time, I'm sure if you were using your
you ever
fucking
got one of those arch cramps during sex? You're like,
Yeah, those hurt. Well, though,
That's
and
why I
when
just
you,
take it from the knee down. Can I donate my leg somewhere?
Well, here's the thing.
If I need
if
money.
If you actually
no.
Like, I can't
That's
donate
been
my
my
knee.
conundrum on it, is that technically as an amputee, if you're below the knee, you have a world full of possibilities as opposed to above the knee.
Dude, I want to
amputee.
get a sick ass
No.
cyberpunk.
As far as even what kind of prosthetics you have are dramatically different based on if it's below the knee or
The way
above
they
the knee.
attach, the way they operate.
And
Yeah,
because
because
of how shitty my knees are, I'm like, man, I'd. But and then be like, I can actually be, make shit match my torso in the.
The long running joke that
Well,
blazes the body.
I got short legs.
I gotta
man.
go,
It
guys.
happens.
true.
So I'm
My-
gonna let
my
you
parents
guys
smoke
leave
too
it up.
much.
Nah, we'll go ahead and wrap it all up. I know Saul's got to go. He's got date night, hot date night.
I told her
He's gonna cut off his hands, so she has to do something.
I'm gonna come back next week with Paul's.
Good Lord. If you walked in here, dude, even if you walked in here with furry paws on,
I tell you, get the fuck out.
Thank
I
you
hear that
all for
bullshit.
watching this episode of Dickish at Best. I hope we've entertained you all and been Dickish at Best. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you all.
thanks, guys. Thanks to our patrons, Dan Barber, Josh Jarrell, Matthew Green. My name is Dan. Douglas Below, Sean Santarud, Eric McAllister, Matt Sycamore, Funk Turkey, Shadowist, Steven Salazar, The Stonard, Travis Blow, Eduardo Palomino, Stefan Swanlin, Coy Live, Philip Laguerre, Corey Hickerson, Brian, Donovan Williams, William Digital Spooker, Derek Porter, Josh Ayers, Brandon Edwards, Sean One Neo, Tyler Powers, and Dylan Kirby. If you would like to support the channel at all, go to our patreon.com/Nartech and give as little as $1 a month. Thank you.